possession, they drove the lane down there. Chris Lice gets fouled. Did you think your guy did anything wrong there, or what did you see?
The ACC assigns those officials, and supposedly you get fined if you're negative about them. So I'm not going to say anything, but I appreciate you trying to set me up.
What about your last offensive possession before that? You
thought it was great. Thought it was really, really good. Really pleased with it.
Coach, can you obviously share the tales of the two halves?
Yeah, for sure. I thought how they started in the second half was the difference in the game. I think they started 5 of 5. We called the timeout. So it was a 13-3 run. I think we were 1 of 7. They were 5 of 5 at the timeout. And the first missed shot they missed was away from where I stand on the other side of the floor. They drove it. We came across to help, which was good. I don't know if it would be deemed a block. Probably not. We only had 2, but it was a deflection that went their ball out of bounds. And then I thought from that point, I thought it was a different game from that moment in time. But how they started, it was too much in the end, obviously, for us to absorb.
You guys have been so good in close games, and also holding, closing teams out after leading at halftime. Was that, just law of averages that was going to end in terms of those streaks?
Yeah, I thought the difference was how the second half started. They went 5 of 5. We went 1 of 7. So they were shooting 100%. We were shooting whatever that is, 14.5%. Called timeout. I think we got a basket after the timeout. And then their next possession, they drove it from the left side of the floor if you were facing the rim. We came across and helped. I don't know if it would be deemed a block, but it was a deflection that went out of bounds, their ball. And then I thought from that point, the complexion of the game changed. But those first 3.5 minutes were for sure not good for us.
Can you assess, obviously, the 2 freshmen coming down to the wire there, with Walker hitting the jumper to tie the 68, and then Max obviously closing out the free throw line?
Oh, they have really good players, really good players. I think both of those kids have been, if you look at the last 5 games, those 2 guys have led them in field goal attempts. And I can't remember exactly. I'd have to, obviously I got a lot of voices in my head, but I think they won 3, lost 3, won 3 coming into today's game. And 4 and 2 were, I thought, really important. I'm not coaching their team. I'm not good enough to coach their team, but I thought those 2 guys were really impactful over the last 5 games.
Coach, just big picture, you've beaten pretty much all the heavyweights in the league this year, Duke and North Carolina, Virginia. Now the regular season's over, how do you assess how you guys perform?
Glad we played early. Glad we get to go home before bedtime. Thankful we get tomorrow off. I don't exactly know what our schedule will be on Monday. Somebody else within our program does, but I think it'll be good for us to have a day off. I'm assuming before we go to bed we'll know who we play potentially. So glad that we played at noon so we can rest between now and Monday morning.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach, how do you feel about the league tournament? Obviously, Virginia's had a terrific year and Duke's playing really well, but it looks like this ACC tournament could potentially be really extremely competitive, top and bottom.
Yeah, I think I haven't been in the league long enough to have any equity to say anything about it, to be honest with you. Just thankful to be a part of it. But in the 4 years that I have been in the league, that's 72 games. I would say the last 18, the margin has been as thin, almost invisible, in comparison to the previous 3 years. Not that the margin was ever wide to any extent, but it's a very, very thin margin for sure, and we're thankful to be able to be a part of it.
Thank you, Coach.